Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Noah. Welcome to my channel. This is United Stateside, the newest Manchester United fan channel, coming to you directly from the United States. And today I just wanted to talk real quick about Manchester United's 2-0 victory versus Crystal Palace that we saw yesterday. A game where we didn't play particularly well. We were slow out of the back. And Crystal Palace were able to make us very uncomfortable for large stretches of the game. With that being said, it is amazing to be able to take a victory from a game where in past years or even earlier this year we might have come away with a draw, and instead we had the quality to finish the game off in the final 15 minutes, and that's something that we can hang our hats on. But here are the three things that I saw that I think were the most important takeaways from our victory versus Crystal Palace. Number one, we are still not comfortable when teams press us high up the pitch. And so this is something that I had covered in our 2-2 draw against Southampton last time, where Southampton were able to make us very uncomfortable and were able to keep us in our own half. And it's evident that Crystal Palace took very good notes from that game and implemented the same, what was essentially the same strategy. And they did that by ensuring that Bruno Fernandes, that Paul Pogba weren't able to create the number of chances that they like to, and because of that we were losing the midfield battle for much of the game. And I'm not really 100% sure how we go about this for the West Ham game, if they implement the same strategy, or even the Leicester game. But what is clear is that in the off season we're going to have to take a long hard look at who we want to bring into the team, whether we just want to focus on a Sancho and a Grealish, or perhaps we need to have a little bit more solidity in the back with a player either at the center back position or the defensive midfielder position, who's more comfortable being on the ball for long stretches of time. And ultimately that'll just give us a lot more options against teams that look to play this type of setup. And so the second thing that I think we learned today is the fact that Luke Shaw is absolutely vital to our team. And I think everybody was a little bit surprised to see Timothy Fosu-Mensah's name on the team sheet. I certainly think that he did a fine job for a player who hasn't really had much game time, certainly not any Premier League game time on the first team over the past year. And he was able to come in and do a job and played a safe game. It was very evident that we didn't have that same dynamic ability to sweep up from the back to the front on the left-hand side with Marcus Rashford that we normally do. Now, Rashford did a tremendous job and was able to create chances without the help of those sort of sweeping runs that Luke Shaw makes. But with that being said, Crystal Palace, they were completely comfortable with giving us that space on the flanks, knowing that we didn't really have the ability to do anything about it. So Wan-Bissaka, I don't know, just hasn't been playing that well for the past few games, at least in the offensive third. And without Luke Shaw, the game became a lot more compressed in the center of the midfield and a lot more tight. And that is exactly what Crystal Palace wanted out of the game. And that's one of the reasons why they were able to win the midfield battle for long stretches of the game. So we definitely missed Luke Shaw. And the final takeaway from the game, and this is more on a positive note, is the fact that we are able to kill the game off in the last 10 to 15 minutes, where in past months, where in past years or even earlier this year we might not have been able to. If you look at the win, loss, and draw columns of the table, we have fewer losses than the likes of Chelsea, Manchester City, and Leicester, but many more draws. And one of the reasons that is because of these close games where we just didn't have the ability to put it away or score that extra goal when we needed to. And now that's changed. Now it looks like our attacking group really has that impetus to score at will, even in a game where we don't play particularly well, but we just need that little extra bit of quality to finally get a goal. Looking forward, there's just 2 games left. You can bet that West Ham will probably line up in the same way if they have something to play for. That's a big if. And if they don't, then you would think that that's a game where we could go and perhaps salvage a little bit of our goal differential. Ideally, we would come into the game against Leicester only needing to draw. If that was the case, then I'm very confident about the last game of the season. If we need to win that game, I'm a little bit less confident, but at the same time, you would think that we have the quality and the personnel to go out and get that last Champions League spot. So I'll be watching this weekend's game versus Chelsea. I would expect that we're not going to line up with our first team. If I was Ole, I would throw out the reserves and say, screw it. Let Chelsea essentially have the game. And then we could look ahead to the Europa League, and that could be the trophy for the season that we win. But for now, the priority has to be on the Premier League and has to be on that last Champions League spot. But with that being said, I'll be watching the Chelsea game this weekend, and I'll be giving you my thoughts after the game. Take care.